right, are we live? Wonderful. I think we are live. Welcome, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is a stream that I had been hoping to do like a month ago. But then I had all the computer problems, then I had to get the new OS, and then I had to get everything reset up. So better late than never. This is I'm finally getting to explore a new plugin that was sent to me by the wonderful people over at Wallander Instruments. I am going to eventually do a video review of this, but the instrument is called Note Performer Playback Engines. So those of you who have been following me for a while know that I love arranging in Finale. I love arranging in notation software. I got to change from Finale eventually just because Finale is no longer a thing, unfortunately. But I love doing my arrangements in notation software because it lets me focus on the quality of my arrangement and not necessarily the quality of my sound. And I have used for a long time a plugin called Note Performer, which just made my notation software sound more realistic. But the folks with Note Performer have released a new thing where it's the same idea. It's the same AI-driven engine where it reads the sheet music to get the performance that a regular performer would be able to tell. Like say all little things like, oh, well, this is the end of a phrase, so we're going to bring the volume down subtly. Just small little things like that to make it sound more realistic, like a person's playing it. But now, instead of just using kind of like a synth to create the sounds, they are using sound libraries. Specifically, this one is for Musio, which they're straight up some of my favorite. All right, let's see here. I'm going to show you guys. Musio are some of my favorite sound libraries at the moment. I'm actually an affiliate of them now. I was a huge fan of theirs, and so I reached out and asked if we could partner, and they were very gracious. You literally get all of these sound libraries for like $10 a month. If you want to check it out yourself, there's a link in the description of this stream. But basically, the idea is that these libraries, or a few of them, are going to be played through Finale. So I figured we'd have some fun with it, to kind of explore, see what kind of things are going on. Welcome, Euthymania, welcome. All right, yeah, so y'all know the drill. If you got questions, you got ideas, just pop them in the comments. I'll be just kind of chatting with you guys as we hang out. But yeah, so right now, in order to do the review, I've got to figure out how this thing actually works, which I've played around with it a little bit, but I figured we would work with the little arrangement I came up with for the 5-year anniversary live stream I had a while ago. But, oops. Before we do that, though, how's everybody doing? All right? Just having some fun with today's stream. So, let's listen to the original performance first. So, right now in Finale, I have everything set up to Garrison Instruments, which is the default sound for the instrument. Let's listen to the flute solo, shall we? Can y'all hear that? That sounds super quiet. Let's do... where is it? That's super soft. There we go. Master volume. Let's increase this to 150. Let's try that. That is still like super quiet. You know, let's unmute everything else and just see what comes up. Let's go back here. Let's do, again, a little louder. Turn that speaker off. It's just so quiet. Let's see here. Let's see if we can crank this up. Awesome. Glad to see you're doing good, Youthmania. All right, see here. Who else is on the stream? We got a couple people on here. We got any regulars? Let's see. I probably should have done an announcement around about this again. Let's see if we can fix this up a little bit. Let's increase these a little to 190. It's getting a little better. Let's just... Oh, there we go. I don't know why the virtual input was so low. So let's listen to this. This is just the vanilla sounds. All right. So this is what we're working with. So now in Note Performer, we can go in and manually change the instruments. So let's listen to that. Let's listen to the flute and the clarinet again, kind of soloed. Let's see here. Hey, Flim Flammery, welcome, welcome. So we're listening to the first 8 measures again. Oh, well, thank you for stopping by at least. Don't forget to like the stream. All right, so let's swap this out. All right, so we'll do winds first. Let's add the flute. We'll select multiple. And then we wanted clarinet. So we'll add these. Wait for them to load. And while we do that, we're going to change these to Note Performer. And listen to how the quality changes. Shall we? Let's see here. Reassign. Yes. So loading Note Performer. Wait, I think I just undid it. Yep. My bad. Let's do Note Performer. Let's go here. All right, so let's listen to it now. Oop. Nope, nope, don't want to exit that. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay. I want to hear this. I want to hear this all together. So basically, if you're just joining, the new plugin I'm working with is called Note Performer Playback Engines, which is a combination of like an AI engine that reads your sheet music and uses your sound libraries to essentially create a MIDI mockup for you. Obviously, it's not going to be all as high quality as a MIDI mockup. It doesn't seem, because there's a lot of stuff you can do with a MIDI mockup, but it's getting pretty close. All right, so let's see. What instruments do I have in here? And then let's kind of figure it all out. So I need a flute. Looks like a piccolo. I need oboes, English horn, clarinet. I'm going to need a bass clarinet. I'm going to need a bassoon and contra bassoon. All right, let's go to brass. So then these are the libraries we have for brass. Let's do trumpet, trombones, horns. Don't need bass, trombone. Do need a tuba. And we'll use industry brass as well. So horns, trumpets, trombones, tuba. Oh, can I only do one or the other? All right, so it looks like I can only do one or the other. Let's use industry, just to see how that sounds. Then we need timpani. Let's do medium mallets. And then a bunch of other percussion. I'm not sure which ones they are, what I use. I don't know if I did percussion yet for this piece, because this is the piece that I was working on for the live stream for the 5-year anniversary. Let's add a harp. Let's see here, bass drum. Where's the harp? I wonder if there's no harp for this. They've got a lot of percussion. That's nice. Oh, yeah. So a harp. We'll go with classical piano. They got a Celeste. They got a bunch of pianos. Let's do strings next. I don't think I need any solo instruments. But all right, so now I've gone through, I've picked all the instruments that I want for this library. And they have choir voices as well. So basically they've got most, if not all, of the Cinesample libraries for Musio. I'm going to add these instruments. And we can see that it's starting to load all of these. So these are all sound libraries. These are all Musio sound libraries. We can see how taxing it's going to be on my system. Let's minimize this. I'm going to very quickly. So right now you can see most of the instruments are set up for Garrishin instruments. In Finale, I'm going to just do this real quick. Sound map priority, change it to note performer at the top. We will hit reassign playback sounds. All right, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of blowing my mind a little bit because notation software does not normally sound like this. All right, so is everything loaded? Everything's loaded. Let's listen to it, shall we? Is this Finale? This is insane. Okay. I just remembered. I have forgotten to unmute the other instruments. I'm sorry. I got to show that again. Okay, so y'all heard that, right? Like, let's do a compare real quick. All right, so this is just like the weird little synthesizer. Although I gotta say, Finale's got a decent. The Garrishin Instruments has a decent clarinet sound. We'll go back to Note Performer. You can already hear the studio space. I love this so much. Okay, 1 second. Let's go back to. Let's go to, where was it? Let's drop this down a little bit so we don't end up blowing out anybody's eardrums. Let's unmute everything. Let's just listen to this piece. All right, so let's listen to it. Let's see what we can hear about the other sounds. All right. I'm sorry. You know, I keep starting and stopping. Let's get a better view of this. Let's just say view, where is it? Document. Is it edit? Utilities. Where is it? Fit measures. Here we go. We'll do 4. Let's do 4 per measure so we can see all of it. We'll go to the beginning. Let's go to page view style, loose leaf column, and let's zip out a little bit. Is that zooming out too much? I feel like we'll work with it. I'm not gonna be able to fit the entire thing on there, but let's get the general idea. horns are a little strong. They're a bit too bright, in my opinion. Could be the dynamic markings I'm using, though. Oh, what's that? That's pretty strong. All right. So first impressions after listening to that whole thing is I really need to fix this piece up. All right. So there are a lot of issues with this piece that I personally don't care much for. I will say I like the melodies. I like the themes I wrote for this. I'm not going to give myself too much flack because this is the piece that I wrote like live for the 5-year anniversary. I think it was like a 6-hour stream. And I ended up calling it quits before it was finished. So I know that like transitions and stuff need to be addressed. But I am really impressed with the sound quality of these instruments. So the woodwinds sound amazing. This flute right at the beginning, just incredible. All right, so first, let's do some things here. All right, since I'm not gonna save this stuff. So let's get rid of the percussion. You know what? Let's just do. I think there's an ability to hide. Show active layer. Oh, I pray. There's an ability in here somewhere to hide empty staves, right? Oh, yeah, right here. There we go. All right, awesome. That makes it way easier. Much easier to follow along with. All right, let's listen. So I really, really like the quality of these woodwinds. The strings could use a little bit of work. Now, again, this might be an issue of just... It could be an issue of having to write in more specific. Because the point of this plugin, so if you're just joining, the plugin right here is called Note Performer Playback Engines. And the idea is it takes your sound libraries. So the one I'm using right now is the Cine series. So Cine, or like Cine Brass, Cine Strings, Cine Percussion, stuff like that. Running it through Musio, and these sound libraries are being fed into this playback engine, which uses AI to read my sheet music and basically make the decisions I would normally have to make during a mock-up to get the right performances. So like get the correct level of modulation, when to use legato versus separate noting nations, when to use like staccato and short note performances. So like if you'll notice, where is it? There was a moment where I swapped, we were in the strings, I swapped to pizzicato. Where was that? Right here. So section E will start in measure 25. Go to score manager, we will solo the string section. And we'll listen to this part. So you'll notice that like in measure 25, starting here, the strings are going to be playing nice and legato, nice and normal. But then, where is it? So it's actually 29 I want to start in. 29. Strings up here playing nice and legato, nice and lyrical. It's going to be around section E or measure 33 where we start getting a bit of pizzicato thrown in as well. And the playback engine is just using my sound libraries and making all those decisions for me to like basically streamline the process of making a MIDI mockup. You can hear the violas. The basses are pizzicato now. The strings are nice. I want to see what could I do if I were to, be a little more descriptive with my string performances, their dynamics. So let's see, let's do measures 1 through 4 are the ones that I'm concerned with right now. Listen to the cello. Let's unmute this flute, shall we? Or unsolo the strings. So I should make sure that I'm quite clear. Right now, I'm just exploring this plugin right now. So I was given this plugin for free by the very generous folks over at Wallander Instruments. And I'm going to be doing a review video sometime next month, most likely. And so right now, I'm just kind of playing around and seeing what it's capable of. Try to form my own kind of opinion, informed opinions. And like I said, the idea is it's your sound libraries. It's a combination of using the sound libraries you have. They've got Cine samples from Musio, BBC, BBC Orchestra Core, BBC Symphony Orchestra Professional, the Berlin Orchestra with Berkeley, Cine series from Contact, Cinematic Studio series, Hollywood Orchestra Opus Edition, Iconic. They've got a lot of these. All right. Nucleus. All right. Spitfire Symphony Orchestra. Nice. 2024, 2017. Oh, no, I've got Studio Orchestra, not Symphony Orchestra. Vienna Symphonic Library. Okay, so they've got a bunch of these. All right. So I want to see, basically, so right now, these first couple measures, I love the flute. But so I love the flute, but the strings sound a little lifeless. So let's see if I can just get a little more specific with my performance. So what if I were to say I wanted to start here at piano, and by here get to mezzo forte, and then kind of repeat it. So we'll take this, copy and paste, and then I want to, let's see if it listens to hairpins. So a hairpin in notation is basically a crescendo. As it gets larger, it says, hey, get louder here. And then it says, get softer here. So let's see. I want to see if this is going to change the performance. Because in theory, this should change the modulation and the volume. Oh yeah, I like that. So you just have to be... All right, so you just have to be very specific with your notation, which makes sense. I mean, this might be a little overkill for like musicians reading it, because a musician would naturally understand that if you got these, like, you'd want to add some expressivity to it. So expression in music is a term used to describe how you change the volume and you change the timbre or the pitch with like vibrato, just naturally over time while holding a single note to help make it feel a little more emotional. So while a professional musician might not need these specific hairpins and like notation marks to understand how to perform this passage, adding them in isn't exactly useless. You can just be very clear on your intention behind this passage. Let's listen to the cello muted real quick. See how it sounds on its own. That is so cool. All right, for comparison, let's listen to it with the original, just like vanilla library from Finale. So a lot softer and a lot flatter. Not flat in terms of like pitch, but expression. Not a dramatic difference. I'll be honest, not a dramatic difference. But noticeable. Oh, this is so cool. I love this. All right, so there was one other thing. What was the other thing I wanted? I thought that the brass sounded a little weird. All right, so let's see. Measure 17. Let's try this. Let's see if we can fix this up a little bit. So first off, something we can try is to just change this dynamic marking. Let's get rid of that. I'm not saving any of these changes anyway. Let's change this to a mezzo forte, a little softer. So let's see this again. So let's see what happens when we change the libraries. Because right now we've got industry horns. What if we replace that? If I replace that, I'm going to have to change... Add instruments, maybe? Let's change this. Let's do Cinebrass horns and Cine trumpets. Oh, it's adding them to the industry. So I thought you could only have one or the other. Let's hear this. So I imagine it's very similar to like the cellos earlier, the celli. I imagine if the more effort I put into my notation. So that's one thing. That's going to be very nice. It's going to, using this is going to like force me to be very specific with my music notation, which I could actually probably, that's probably very helpful. Let's try a different project, shall we? Open. Let's see here. Let's do one of my pieces. Let's do, where is it? Where is the On You Stay? Ah, On You Stay. We'll open this. Let's see. All right, so this is a piece from one of my recent soundtracks. So let's change each of these to Garrison. I want to see what the quality is. Let's see here. Bobby, welcome, welcome. Ah, from Germany. Welcome, my friend. All right, yeah, that's my way. So right now I'm just kind of playing around with some software that I was sent, seeing what it's capable of, just kind of exploring it. I figured I got to do this anyway. Might as well do it with you guys. If you guys have questions, ideas, suggestions, let me know. I don't mind derailing it to like answer questions or whatnot. So let's listen to Garrison first. Oops. Does Garrison not have choir? It should. Choir Oz. I don't know why it's not coming out. Let's see here. It says it's clipping. Ah, why is the volume down so much? There we go, there we go. So that's what the issue is. I don't know why it suddenly dropped the volume so much. All right, Garrison being super quiet as usual. Let's see if we can't increase this volume a little bit more. All right, so this is one we've already got. So let's just load it, shall we? Let's add some instruments. So this thing also has choir. Let's do O's. Alto, alto, basses. Sopranos, altos, bass. Let's add. Are they loaded? So it's loading them to everything that was already added. Here they are. Let's just listen to it. Oops, I forgot to reset it. Device setup, sound map priority. Let's set this to note performer is top priority. Do that. Then let's reassign voices. Let's bring that volume down just a little bit. I'll catch you up in a second, Bobby. All right. I'm reasonably happy with that. It's always tricky trying to use choir libraries, so I feel like I'm not giving it a fair look. Because choir libraries are just like an oohs and ahs. They're never going to be as nice as the actual recordings of the musicians themselves, especially when there are texts involved. But so yeah, Bobby. So the idea here is I was sent a new plugin, Note Performer Playback Engines. And the idea is that it uses a combination of sound libraries that you have to own. So for example, I'm using the Cine series from Musio. Musio is one of my favorite sound. They actually, no, they're straight up my favorite sound library company at this point, which is something because I was a diehard Spitfire fan for years, still am. But Musio, I think, is probably the best bang for your buck. You get thousands of libraries, like thousands of instruments, I should say, for like $10 a month. Or if you pay $300 one time, you get all thousands of instruments that you can work with, all professional grade. But they've got all, it's compatible with each of these libraries. And the idea is it loads these sound libraries into your notation software, which I believe they have Finale, Dorico, and Sibelius are all options. Now, the really cool thing that the reason why I am very excited for this and why I want to explore and see what it's capable of is they have an AI-driven engine that will read your sheet music and essentially make all of the adjustments to your sound library to reflect the performance that you want. Which is normally something that's very tedious and very time-consuming. It's called creating a MIDI mockup. So essentially, this is a plugin that aspires to eliminate the necessity for MIDI mockups. And we're kind of exploring it today to see what it's capable of. Right now, I think I could definitely make a better MIDI mockup, but I'm super happy with this so far because I make all of my arrangements in Finale, in my notation software. And so having some better libraries is just a better quality of sound. Let's see, what else can we come up? Let's see what other projects I have. Let's see here, which ones would be good? I need to organize my Finale thing. Let's try a motor tray, shall we? So let's change this. It's not my priority. Okay, we got no performer set up. And while that's loading, let's see here. Euthymania. Is it possible to export the MIDI from this? Getting it to sound completely right in notation seems like a hassle, but exporting the MIDI to a DAW and using it as a starting point seems efficient. Oh, yeah, that's definitely. So what you would do is you would go to export MIDI file. That's standard for all notation softwares. So you could definitely export all of this as MIDI information and then put that in Cubase and create your own mockup. That's typically what I would do anyway, is I would work on my arrangement in a DAW. And then I would, so I would make my arrangement in notation software. And then I would upload the MIDI files into a DAW to make the actual mockup. That's right. Do they have kalimba in Euclid? Oh, that is very loud. Why is the kalimba so much louder than everything else? So they don't have a Euclid or kalimba. Oh yeah, those choirs sound way better when they're on sustained pitches. I hate how Finale does this. Do they have a solo voice singer? I don't think Voxos has that. No, Voxos is just the... I am reasonably happy with that. I mean, I don't think it's going to replace MIDI mockups. Not yet. But I think they're going to get there. Genuinely, I really do. Which is going to be huge for traditional notation composers. So, like, there's usually kind of a split these days between composers who prefer to compose in notation software and composers who prefer to compose in a DAW. There are advantages to both. Personally, I find writing in notation software is better for creating better arrangements. Because it forces you to focus on the quality of your ideas instead of the quality of the sounds. Whereas DAWs, especially for someone like me with severe ADHD, can be very distracting because then I end up getting sidetracked on getting the exact performance I want instead of writing the ideas that I should be focusing on. But for musicians, the strength of a DAW for a very long time has been how realistic you can make your performances sound versus notation software. This is going to be a huge leg up for notation users. If I could make my arrangement sound like a mock-up straight from Finale, that would be a game changer. I mean, I'm never going to be able to do it from Finale because Finale's not a thing anymore. They just closed down. I got to upgrade to Dorico. But this engine is available for Dorico as well. Straight up, if I could do all of my mock-up stuff in notation software, that would save me so much time. Because if I can just use dynamic markings to replace all of the modulation data, all of the expression data, the continuous controller, number 7 data, which is like track volume, I believe. If I could just use notation and just expect my computer to use AI to read the notation the way a musician would read it, that would be a game changer because that would be hours and hours of tedious detail work that I wouldn't have to do in my DAW to get the performance I want. Like I said, I don't think they're there yet. In fairness, I've been working with this for less than an hour. Maybe it is there. Maybe they got options I haven't expressed. Let's see. Return to previous screen. Return to previous screen. All right, so Voxo. So what do they got? Oh, I can control the reverb. Oh, that's handy. I can change the stereo width. I can add a filter. Advanced settings. What they got? Oh, that's handy. Okay, so they've got some stuff. I would say the way this is now. Oh, nice. Oh, this is really cool. So I can adjust the amount of noise. That's very handy. Nah, straight up, I'd say this is a game changer for younger musicians. If you're a younger musician and you've like trained to like read notation and work on this, and you want to start writing professional music, like getting professional like sounding music without having to spend a lot of time working on all the minutiae in a DAW, this is a game changer. And I really am very excited to see where this goes in a couple years. This has the potential. I'd say it has the potential. It currently isn't there. But if they continue developing this, I genuinely believe this has the potential to eliminate the need for the whole MIDI mockup process. Which would be a blow if you really, really enjoy that. And I'm sure that it would never completely eliminate it because a true artist can always beat a computer. But for someone like me, where my favorite part is writing the music and not kind of the tedious like detail work, I'd be very happy with that. Interesting. What are your guys' thoughts? What are you guys thinking? Oh, let me check the comments here. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, getting the MIDI from the Note Performer play engine would be really interesting. I don't think so. Technically, the MIDI information would be from Finale or your notation software. The Note Performer engine is what takes that MIDI data and interprets it for your sound libraries. Yes, so learning sheet music. Yes, that is the tricky part, is if you have to know sheet music for this to really be beneficial. This is a notation software thing. If you want to learn sheet music, I have a wonderful resource for you, because it wouldn't be a Tabletop Composer live stream without an ad, a self-gratuitous ad. Go to my website. Go to my bookshop. Musical Storyteller, my textbook, which is currently on sale. This is actually one of the things I often get told is like their favorite part. Are the very first 2 chapters teach you how to read sheet music and effectively write with it. So chapter 1 is about reading sheet music a pitch. We understand that we learn the history behind how the systems were made, all the different things like staves, clefs, etc. And then chapter 2 is about reading rhythms. And then the rest of the book is all about applying that information and writing really, really cool music and arrangements and stuff. So check it out. Starting in February, if you have a copy of this book, which I recommend, it's not necessary, but honestly, it's just for channel members. If you are a member, I believe Euthymania is a member. Yeah, Euthymania is a member of this channel. If you are a channel member, which I think is like $5 a month, starting in February, I will be hosting private live streams for the channel members where we're going to basically go through this book 1 chapter at a time. You don't need the book to participate. It will be very helpful, which is why it's currently on sale for 20% off, so that members can grab a copy for cheaper and kind of prepare for that live stream series. Yeah, this is, but back to the topic of today. This is, let's see how it does with another piece. Let's see, Footfall, my most recent. Splish, let's do Splish. Is it just piano and voice? That can't be right. This is not the sheet music from Splish. Where is my sheet music from Splish? Here we go. So this is the piece. This is the official piece. So I need a trumpet. We've got trumpet. Alto sax. I don't think the Cinesamples libraries have a saxophone. Trombone, drum set. We'll leave the drum set out just because I would have to probably map it. You know what? No, never mind. Let's check. Let's check. Because we're testing, aren't we? Let's add an instrument. Does Cinepercussion have a drum set? I don't think they do. Oh, they do. Here we go. And then we need a trombone drum set, electric bass. Do they have an electric bass? Let's see here. Phone is going off. Let me double check. Nothing important. We're all good. Let's see here. Do they have an electric strings? I don't think they have. No, they don't have an electric bass. But let's just give it a listen, see what they do have. Because that's a nice thing, is that's another cool thing, is if the instruments are missing from the playback engine, the original Note Performer instrument gets used, which is a synth based off physical modeling, which is a type of synthesizer that generates the sound waves based off different parameters you set. So it still sounds relatively realistic. This doesn't sound like it's... Let's reassign real quick. No performer. All right. You know, there's a very simple way to figure this out. No, yeah, this is it. All right, so it's trumpets playing in unison instead of a trumpet solo. Do they have a trumpet solo? Let's mute that. So I'd probably have to go in and manually add the pedal markings too, instead of just being lazy like I always am and adding a note at the beginning. Use the pedal as you feel like it should be used. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough. All right. I'm impressed. I really am. I think it has a little bit of a ways to go still before it can fully replace like the mock-up process. But just the fact that I can so seamlessly start integrating my sound libraries into Finale. Because normally, like if you don't have experience with this stuff, normally, if you wanted to use sound libraries in your notation software, you'd have to go in, load each individual library as for each instrument. And then if you wanted to kind of try to follow the sheet music, you'd have to write in, you'd have to map it, basically saying, hey, if I use these accent marks that I use in the trumpet and the trombone, then I want you to use these samples. If I put this crescendo here, here's what I want you to do with the modulation. It was a whole involved effort. And it took a lot of time just to get your sound libraries to work, which is why most people never really use sound libraries in notation software. So the fact that the Note Performer playback engine essentially eliminates all of that, and you can just tell it which sound libraries to use, and it will automatically make all those decisions for you. This is a game changer. I think we are seeing the beginning of something quite huge. I hope they keep developing this, because this very well, like I said, after a year or two of development, I could very realistically seeing this eliminate the need for MIDI mockups, which personally makes me very excited. Like I said, that's hours of my life I'd be able to spend on other things and other aspects of writing that I enjoy more. But yeah, I am going to explore this a little bit more on my own. And then later in February, I will be dropping a whole video with my thoughts, my breakdowns, and all that good stuff. So let's see here. Any questions? Anybody got any questions before we call it a day? Let's see here. Focus on music sounds the future. About to buy that when I get home from this weekend trip. Just discovered your channel and products yesterday. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm welcome to the channel. Glad you found it. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted right now. I'm stuck thinking about like what this means and the possibilities of this software. This is very exciting. All right, but yeah, so welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found it, though. I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you found it useful. And yes, if you are interested in Musio, I should do a shout out from my sponsors. Musio, I love these people. Musio, there's a link in the description of this video. They are sponsors. If you use it, we're affiliates. If you go down to the description, you use that link to sign up. It's incredible. Let's see here. So this is the annual price. You can pay $100 a year to get over 2,000 libraries, instruments, or they have monthly. It's $10. If you use the link below, I get a little kickback to my channel, so just consider it. Musio is one of those really cool companies where they are offering a lot of very high-grade professional level sound libraries, and they are the first company to just dramatically slash the price. So Cinebrass Pro, all of the Cinesample Pro series is part of this. You can get all of these. You can get the Tina Guo Solo Cello, which is another standard. A lot of these instruments are industry standard. And the fact that you get all of them you can buy all of them for $400 one-time payment, or you can get an annual subscription, or you can use a monthly subscription of like $10 a month. They're a company who is dramatically increasing the availability of high quality tools to people, which is something I'm very passionate about. So like on my website, a lot of you know that I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube, but I also have free classes. I'm very passionate about making music education more widely accessible. Musio is a company that is making professional level software more widely accessible. And that's one of the reasons why I reached out to them a while back, asking them to sponsor one of my competitions. And they went above and beyond. They offered a perpetual license, so a $400 license with 2,000 plus instruments, basically all of these instruments. They gave all of these instruments to each of the 3 podium finishers for free. And then on top of that, they sponsored the channel. Or made me an affiliate. I don't know if those are the same things. Basically, they made the channel an affiliate of their company. Basically, if you use that link in the description, they give me a kickback. They give me a portion, I think, of every single person who signs up. They give me some money for it using the link below. So you can support the channel and get yourself some really cool software using that link below. But yeah, so I don't shout them out nearly as much as I should. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still... I don't know. I've got this software almost makes me anxious. It's hard to describe. Like, I have this feeling that, like, this is, I don't know, groundbreaking sounds melodramatic, but I genuinely do think this is going to be groundbreaking. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more plugins like this one. I think one of the coolest and most harmless applications of AI for music is going to be making music notation software sound and perform much, much more realistically, which will never replace real orchestras, but it's going to open up the world to just so many more talented composers out there who otherwise would have no other way of having their music heard. I am shook just kind of thinking about this. I don't know. It sounds dramatic, but I am dumbfounded. I'm flabbergasted. That's a good word. Flabbergasted. What other quotes we got? We got anything, $3.99 is like one big name Native Instruments product. Exactly, right? I have paid way more than $400 for a single library before. And the fact that you get like all these libraries, and then this. Also, go check out Note Performer. So this is the software. So they have two. They have Note Performer, but then they also have Playback Engines, which is their new software. That's what I'm working with today. Which is really, really cool. This is what's got me so shook. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call it a day here, people. Thank you for stopping by. All right, so don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you've got other things you'd like to see me kind of explore and try out, let me know in the comments, all right? Right now, join the Discord channel. There's a link, again, in the description. But yeah, I've got a bunch of videos coming in February, people. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Again, my brain is elsewhere right now, so I'll just call it now. All right. Have a good one. I will see you all. Oh, next week. Next week is the last live stream of the month, January 31st, which means it is time for live feedback. So keep an eye out on Instagram and YouTube. Monday, I will make an announcement for how to submit your music for free live feedback. But yeah, for now, I will see you all next week. All right. Have a good one. See ya.